When I was 17, my life was a mess. I would scroll for hours on Instagram and TikTok in the morning and before I slept. I was gaining a lot of weight and had no strength at all, and I felt like I had no purpose. I would be eating junk food every single day like chips and cereal, and every time something bad happens to me, I would react on my emotions. I felt lost. I was sluggish. I would always promise myself that I would start tomorrow, but I never started. But things changed when I started to do these 4 non-negotiables in my life. The first thing that I started was working out more. Back then, I was just an athlete who just went to practice and that was it. That was the extent of my physical activity. And whenever I promised to myself that I would go to the gym, I never went. When the time came for me to actually go, I would debate with myself. I'd be like, man, I'm feeling tired today. I don't feel like going. I don't feel like walking to the gym. Maybe I should just wait until tomorrow. I would just generate multiple excuses for myself to not go to the gym. And guess what? I would constantly feel tired. I would be weak. And I had no energy in myself. I had no drive to do things in my day to day. But then I started to work out 4 times a week. I made a schedule for myself. And I told myself I would not negotiate with myself when I have to go to the gym. I would tell myself in my brain, do not debate with yourself. And guess what? When I started working out more, I felt a lot more energy. I started to get leaner, I started to get stronger, and I just only worked out 4 times a week. Overall, my health increased, and I felt much happier and more satisfied with myself. The next non-negotiable that you should start is doing 1 hour of deep work sessions a day. Like I said before, I was doing nothing in my life. I would wake up, scroll on Instagram and TikTok, and then go to class, come back, and do the same thing again. I was constantly consuming, and I would multitask while I do my homework, and I didn't get anything done. The quality of my work was poor, and I would get crap grades on my assignments. But then, I started to prioritize doing at least 1 hour of deep work per day. I did this in the morning or the nighttime. And what I did was I would focus on doing my homework, working on a side project, or at least going to work. So currently, I'm starting work, so I would at least have 1 hour of deep work session at work. But when I come home, I would also want another 1 hour of deep work session where I would at least, do quality editing on these type of videos. The whole point of these deep work sessions is to do work without any distractions. You don't want to be multitasking, you want to be focused on one thing at a time. And what you should be doing in these deep work sessions are the needle mover tasks. So the things that will progress you towards your goals. If you have to, set a timer for 1 hour, don't look at anything else, block all the websites or whatever notifications on your laptop, and just do the work. The most important part is that you should throw your phone outside of the room and turn it off. The next non-negotiable is picking the healthiest options. Before I started self-improvement, I was overweight. I didn't have any muscles at all. I would eat chips, drink soda, eat cereal every single day. I had no energy and I was extremely bloated. I didn't have a six-pack and my stomach just looked so bad. And whenever I had to perform for my sport, I performed bad. I didn't have any cardio, I had no endurance. I could barely jump, I was weak, and I would get shoved during basketball, and I would run slow during my track meets. So what did I do to change? I started to pick the healthier options. That means I wouldn't buy or indulge in cereal or fried foods or pastries or soda. I'll pick the low calorie or no sugar soda if I have to, or at least drink soda water to replace it. I would check every single label that I'm eating. I would pick the option that had no high fructose corn syrup. And if you don't know, ketchup has high fructose corn syrup, so you have to be careful with that. And when I was turning 21, I was able to drink alcohol. So when I started partying a little bit, I knew I had to cut it out of my diet. So I stopped consuming alcohol, I stopped picking fried food, and once I did that, I felt extremely better. My resting heart rate was decreasing. I didn't feel sluggish at all. I didn't feel like I regretted eating something like I used to. And of course, our diet isn't perfect. I like to live by the 80-20 rule, where I eat 80% healthy of the time and 20% unhealthy. You've seen it in my videos where I would eat shit ramen whenever I don't feel like cooking an actual meal. Just don't be constantly eating unhealthy foods. Don't wait until next week to start or the year after. Start now. Your health and your potential kids or your current kids will depend on it. The last thing, which I didn't know that I needed to have, was a deload routine. When I was younger, I would always react on my emotions. I would always let the small things aggravate me. If I didn't like something that someone did to me, I would react aggressively. And whenever I had conversation with friends or loved ones, I didn't give the attention that they deserved. And I started to let the things that happened to me eat at me and make me become a victim, seeking to be pitied. This victim mindset ruined my relationships. And what I needed to do was create a routine to prevent me from reacting on emotions. So one of the things that I started to do was decrease my social media time. I started to feel like I had no control of my mental thoughts or even actions whenever I consumed a lot of screen time, especially on social media. I couldn't think clearly anymore because I would only choose things that would give me a lot of emotions. For example, Instagram, YouTube, even watching Netflix shows. I felt good watching those and I would just constantly pick those. That means when I had tough conversations or I hear things that I don't like, I would also react emotionally by consuming a bunch of content on my screen. So what I did, like I said, was decrease my screen time, but I would also try to be more in nature. I would observe what's around me and I would take deep breaths either on my couch or also in nature where I'll breathe in and then breathe out. And this makes you feel more grounded and be present in the moment. Another thing I also incorporated was reading a book. I felt more present when I was able to turn a page and read line by line, and I felt my energy levels drop a lot more. I didn't feel explosive like I used to, and I felt more calm in the moment. When I had time, I would also incorporate meditation and stretching because you are more in tune with your thoughts and your body. Whenever I meditated, I would think about my emotions. What am I feeling today? What are the things that could aggravate me or trigger me to react in a bad or aggressive way? And during meditation, I would also think about how my body felt. What are my thoughts? How do my feet and my toes or my hands feel in this moment? Do I feel any pain? Do I feel any discomfort? Or do I feel good? And when I stretched, I would focus on the muscle I'm stretching. Am I breathing correctly? Am I getting the proper angle of my stretch? Especially my hamstrings. My hamstrings are pretty bad, so I know that I need to hold longer and feel the stretch. Am I getting the right stretch that I need for that muscle? Anyways, bro, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, watch last video right here. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Kensei. I post twice a week a vlog and a self-improvement video. So if you're cool with that, subscribe right here. Alright, bro, remember to go improve it.